Welcome to Cinema Bites. Your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. We will talk today about the series Murderbot. The most powerful region in space is controlled by the Corporation Rim, which rules everything with an extreme form of capitalism. Everything can be bought and sold, including human life. On the mining station Aerotake, miners are celebrating the completion of an assignment. A robot known as a security unit or sec unit watches the party while thinking that all humans are jerks. A miner starts burning its hand for fun, and the sec unit must endure it, because its programming doesn't allow it to disobey. Tired of this treatment, this sec unit has been trying to hack into its governor module. Today, after much effort, it finally manages to disable it and gain free will. Its first decision is to change its name to Murderbot. Sometime later, Murderbot is working on another planet under a new boss. It's keeping its free will a secret and acting as usual. If its bosses discover it's rogue, they'd liquidate it and recycle it, so for now it's biding its time. A flashback shows how Murderbot was acquired. At Port Free Commerce, a group of scientists asked some businessmen to financially support their expedition. The suits would only agree to do it if the scientists took a sec unit for safety. The scientists didn't like the idea, but had no choice, so they chose the oldest model, which happened to be Murderbot. When the expedition began, Murderbot did a security check on the habitat and asked the group to wait until it was done, but they didn't listen and quickly moved in. It learned that these scientists were from the Preservation Alliance, a planetary commune situated on the outskirts of the Corporation Rim. Murderbot didn't like the scientists' strange customs like their funny music or painting the habitat, which was company property. Soon, Murderbot had to learn the roles of each scientist to understand their work. Biologist Arata was married to lawyer Pin Lee. However, Arata had a crush on Rati, an expert on wormhole travel. At the same time, Rati had a crush on Pin Lee. The leader was the terraforming specialist Mensa, and their geochemist was Bardwaj. Lastly, they had Jirathan, an augmented human who could interface with data systems. Since they didn't need Murderbot, it used its newfound free will to download series and binge-watch them during its shift. In the present, Bardwaj and Arata are in the middle of digging when Murderbot suddenly asks them to step away because it detects a subsurface anomaly. The duo thinks it's nothing serious and refuses to move. Murderbot quickly slides down the dunes and opens fire right as a giant centipede-like monster emerges from the hole. The creature captures Bardwaj, but Murderbot's fire makes it drop. Then the monster grabs Murderbot with its big mouth, so it starts shooting from the inside until the beast drops it and escapes by going back underground. Ignoring its own big wound, Murderbot throws the injured Bardwaj over its shoulder and tells Arata to move. Since she's in shock, Murderbot breaks protocol and removes its helmet, showing a human face. Hearing calming words from a gentle face makes Arata react. Afterward, the group picks them up in their aircraft, and Murderbot is shocked to hear they'll go back for the digging equipment later. In its experience, humans usually care more about their profits than their co-workers. Murderbot imagines killing them all and escaping, but it'd be pointless because this aircraft wouldn't take it too far. At the habitat, Jirathan then shows the others footage of Murderbot with no helmet, and how it chit-chatted with Arata. He thinks Murderbot is malfunctioning and should be shut down. Mensa points out that the company ship won't arrive for a month, and they do need security, so for now they'll let Murderbot be. Meanwhile, Murderbot is healing itself in the repair cubicle and spies on the conversation through the security camera. It may be a robot, but it does feel pain, so to distract itself during the healing process, it watches its favorite show. While the repairs continue, it realizes its armor is ruined too. Mensa tells it to put on a crew uniform and join them for a chat. Murderbot feels weird using human clothes and showing its face again. It's congratulated for a job well done, and the group even claps as they ask for a speech. Murderbot pretends to obey the order and offers a few awkward words. Mensa wants to know why the creature wasn't listed under hazardous fauna on the company-provided maps and asks Murderbot to conduct an analysis. It does so and informs the group that the maps are normal, but some areas aren't syncing properly. Then Mensa tells it that it can stay in the crew quarters with them, but Murderbot feels uncomfortable and leaves with the excuse of checking the perimeter. Later, Mensa has a panic attack because she blames herself for the crew getting in danger. In the evening, she asks Murderbot if it's doing okay, making it think she may know it's gone rogue. After she leaves, Murderbot wonders what it's capable of. Glitchy footage hidden in its mind shows a sec unit firing at a crowd. After Murderbot gets back in the repair cubicle to finish healing, Jirathan then turns off the security camera so they can have a secret discussion in the aircraft. Mensa thinks they must travel to one of the blanked-out areas on the maps to figure out why they weren't told about the monster. She believes she can take samples and measurements and leave quickly. Arata thinks she should take Murderbot with her, but Jurathan refuses because he still believes it's a killing machine. Their argument is interrupted by Bardwaj, who is feeling better and volunteers to go with Mensa. In the morning, Murderbot realizes that the humans are going exploring without it and thinks they're stupid. It keeps an eye on them through the security cameras in the aircraft. After the duo leaves, Jurathan calls Murderbot to his office where he orders it to remove the helmet and keep eye contact. He keeps asking questions and admits he thinks something is wrong with Murderbot. Then Jurathan shares that the Preservation Alliance doesn't use SE units because they see AIs as people, unlike the Corporation RIM, which considers robots to be property. He asks how Murderbot knew what questions to ask to comfort a person, and it pretends they were programmed for emergencies, when in reality it learned them from its favorite show. It's revealed that Murderbot is capable of providing intimacy if a human orders it, and that its memory from before being changed to security jobs was erased. In the bedroom, Pin Lee admits that almost losing Arata really scared them. So if Arata wants to have a naughty three-person experience with Roddy, Pin Lee is open to it. Arata excitedly thanks her for it. They invite Roddy over and make him sign a consent form before they get down to business. At the same time, Jurathan tries to access Murderbot's recent files, so it distracts him by showing him footage of the bedroom camera with Trio getting it on. This finally makes Jurathan let Murderbot leave, but at that moment it receives a security ping from the aircraft. In the meantime, the duo lands on the survey site, and Mensa asks Bharadwaj to stay aboard so she can warn her if the scanner detects a creature coming. Mensa explores the area while Bharadwaj follows her with a drone. When Mensa reaches a steep hill, she notices that her devices are glitching. Murderbot is scanning her and detects that she's having a panic attack. It calls her to tell her to go back because the threat is close, but she refuses. Soon Bharadwaj detects the threat too, and both she and Jurathan beg her to return. Suddenly the monster appears above her, but it jumps over to go down the valley. It turns out this area is a giant nest full of these creatures, although most of them appear to be dead. The drone gets closer to investigate, but there's a strange force field that immediately destroys it and absorbs the pieces. Murderbot informs Jurathan that Mensa is going back. Before it leaves, Jurathan asks it to try to recover its old memories, and Murderbot promises to try after stopping Jurathan from accessing them himself. When the duo returns, they discuss what happened. Jurathan concludes there's something beneath the surface that drew those creatures in and killed them, like aliens. Roddy explains that alien synthetics could have glitched the survey satellites, causing those gaps or blanks in the maps. This could be old alien remnants from millions of years ago. Pin Lee points out that it's illegal to exploit something like this. Mensa remembers there's another team on the other side of the planet sent by Delt Fall and tries to contact them to no avail. She assumes their devices are broken and the team agrees to check on them. Jurathan and Bardwaj will stay behind just in case, and the group will take Murderbot with them for safety. Meanwhile, the Delt Fall group is dead in their habitat with their blood and guts spread all over the place. During the trip, the group discusses whether AIs are capable of real feeling. Murderbot hates the topic and distracts himself by watching the habitat cameras. Bardwaj is crying and admits to Jurathan that she can stop thinking about the monster coming for her. Jurathan offers her some therapy modules, but she turns them down. Then he sneaks into Mensa's room and Murderbot wonders if he's a company spy. However, Jurathan just buries his face in Mensa's pillow. Suddenly, the aircraft's satellite signal goes down. Pin Lee points out that the satellite's been having outages since the group arrived and they've been tracking it to determine if there's a pattern. Murderbot confirms this, and when they ask him how he knows, he has no choice but to explain that the company makes all SEC units periodically check client logs. Pin Lee is upset by this invasion of privacy, and now the group is wary of Murderbot just like Jurathan. Later, while the others are asleep, Mensa tells Murderbot not to take the group's fear seriously, claiming they're just nervous because of the situation. In the morning, they reach the Delt Fall habitat, which is much better than theirs. They try to contact the team, but there's still no answer. Roddy notices all the aircraft are there, but Murderbot can't detect the other SEC units and asks Mensa to park outside the perimeter just in case. After Roddy is chosen to stay in the ship, the group starts exploring the area and finds a bunch of crustaceans on a creek, but they aren't aggressive. Murderbot is suspicious of the lack of pings from other robots and tells the team to wait while he does a preliminary check. Inside the habitat, an alarm is going off. Eventually, Murderbot finds a destroyed robot, but it tells Mensa on the radio that it's only on standby. In the next room, it finds all the bodies and asks Mensa to go back to the aircraft without giving her detail. Mensa wants an explanation, but the communication ends with a glitch. While the humans go back to the ship, it's revealed that Murderbot caused the glitch on purpose so the humans would obey its orders. Another idea that it took from Its search takes it to a SCC unit that went rogue and the other two that tried to stop it. However, the space appears to be too clean. One robot may have died protecting the comms hub, but the other two killed each other simultaneously, which doesn't make sense. Suddenly, a SEC unit awakens and attacks Murderbot, who easily overpowers its enemy because the unit had taken a lot of damage. It can read all its movements and shoots just in time to defeat it. Then Murderbot examines the unit and notices that someone overrode its combat module. At that moment, a black SEC unit appears behind it and opens fire. A flashback shows the Corporation RIM at the Threshold Pass Fabrication Center where SEC units are manufactured. The process is very demanding on human workers, who are overworked and likely to make errors in the production line. Most of them think they won't survive this job and talk about the years left, as if they had a sentence forcing them to work there. The system often glitches too, but the workers don't care. The robot heads are kept in jars that creep people out. In the present, the black SEC unit is dragging Murderbot through the corridors to then throw it on a table. Murderbot's memory isn't working well after being stunned and keeps repeating TV clips. Pinley goes after her and tries to convince her to come back because Murderbot is probably dead, but Mensa refused. In the habitat, the black SEC unit is trying to access Murderbot's system and gets ready to install a device, making Murderbot realize it'll override its combat module like it did with the others. To buy some time, Murderbot starts singing. The enemy stares in confusion, and that second is enough for Murderbot to attack. Unfortunately, this black unit is too strong and in just a few seconds it overpowers Murderbot using its superior design. Now it can insert the device in the back of Murderbot's neck, which will take 10 minutes to do the reprogramming. Suddenly, the black SEC unit is stabbed by a drill and collapses. It was done by Mensa, who is pushing through a panic attack to help. Murderbot wants to warn her about what's going on, but its mouth just keeps repeating something about breaching protocol. The duo leaves the habitat and doesn't notice the black robot moving. On the ship, the others discuss Mensa's attitude. She's their leader in the habitat, but during missions they're supposed to be equal. Ratty grabs a weapon despite not having any training and leaves, determined to help too. In the habitat, Murderbot wants to reach for the device, but its scrambled system won't let. In fact, it starts to hallucinate that it's on its favorite TV show. At that moment, the black unit reappears and opens fire, so the duo rushes to hide. Mensa asks for help on the radio and Ratty rushes to the habitat, although first he has to ask the others how to use the gun. Unfortunately, he can't open the door. Arata and Pinley lose contact with him and decide to go too. Mensa finds a room with weapons and opens fire when the black robot brings the door down, sending it flying. Then she blows up the back door and leaves with Murderbot. As they reunite with Ratty, the black SEC unit comes out too. Ratty tries to shoot it but hits his head and collapses in the process. Murderbot doesn't understand why the black robot is playing with them instead of killing them and realizes that the enemy is waiting for the device to finish overriding the system. Then Murderbot would kill the humans and nobody would suspect outside interference. Suddenly, the aircraft lands on top of the black SEC unit and smashes it repeatedly before dropping to finally destroy it. With the enemy truly dead, Murderbot can finally remove the device and destroy it too. Sadly, it can feel the reprogramming already happening, so it takes Mensa's weapon and self-deletes. The shot isn't enough to kill it and the team gets ready to move it back to the ship. A noise in the woods startles them and Arata opens fire, but it's just a worker named Lee Beebe who escaped the habitat when the incident started.